Wow! It's superstar quarterback Carson Palmer!
Hi, I'm superstar quarterback Carson Palmer. You know, kids, my 37th touchdown was a big moment in my career, so that football means a lot to me. Could you find it in your heart to let me have it?
Do we have to?
Well, no, you don't have to, but...
Then adios, amigo!
Ty and Riley were all so sad. Then they came across the FleemCo ad. The replacements. No, not those replacements. The replacements. No, not those replacements. The replacements cartoon. God damn. Hey, what's up, Thought? It's your boy D Scrub Man of ReviewYaLife, back again with another super official cartoon review, which will be this puppy right here.
But you gotta admit, Hakobo's mouth is funny looking. Oh yeah!
But before we get started with this, we'll have to go through this, which will lead us into stuff like this. Let's go. Now, before we begin to talk about the show, let's take a look at creator Dan Santat, a simple children's book author from California. Graduating from Art Center College of Design in 2001, he had art in mind, even though he had a bachelor's degree in microbiology from a college prior. As soon as he got out of college, he had goals already set on becoming a member of the SCBWI. So while going to one of the conferences, he presented two books. One being The Guild of Geniuses, which involved a monkey and a movie star, and the other being Sidekicks, which involved pet superheroes. And he got a 2-book deal right then and there. So coming to the industry was quite simple for your boy Dan here. He went on to publish The Guild of Geniuses in 2004, and right before getting started on the second book, Disney randomly hit him up for a picture book idea he had called The Replacements, and they held a meeting with him for his pitch becoming the show, in which they loved the idea, and it became greenlit by 2005, and that's when the production of it started moving. I'm really concerned on how Disney just anonymously knew that this man had a book idea, but I'm just gonna assume that they had eyes and ears everywhere at this point. While in production, you can notice the change in art style from Dan Santat's book style drawings to Heather Martinez's modern era animation style, to the finalizing character designs of David Coulter. There are no signs of the pilot as of now, which I expected, so let's move on to the premiere. Disney Channel decided to hold a sneak preview of the episode on July 28, 2006 to get the hype going, and keep in mind that Disney Channel was popping at this point in time. Fucking shows like Kim Possible, Zack and Cody, American Dragon, Hannah Montana, Emperor's New School, Buzz on Maggie, goddamn Brandy and Mr. Whiskers, and they also had enough time to put reruns of past shows on top of that. The Replacements had to bring the pain on earning a time slot for that network. The actual premiere of the show launched on September 8, 2006, with promos building up to the plot of the show by simply just playing the theme song, which pretty much explains everything really. And now that you consumed all of this information, you now know enough for me to start the review with the format, production, main plot, and a sprinkle of nostalgia. So let's go into the production. Production on this show was a new foundation for the artist Santat, considering he hasn't done anything like this before, unlike all the other cartoons I reviewed in the past where the creators of the show at least had some experience in this field. Our boy Santat just went in blind. So when it comes down to the final ideas and says in the show, his suggestions probably weren't favorable, but boy was it a learning experience. Now, since this is a Disney cartoon, my primary stance on the production will usually be that it's not too much to look at, but it's something to watch. The company Disney Television Animation has always had this formulaic standard of making cartoons just visually okay, while the writing does the rest. I'm not saying that it can't make anything beyond that, but based upon what I've seen so far from them, nothing really stands out. Brandy and Mr. Whiskers along with Dave the Barbarian are the only ones that come to mind that kind of look stylistically different, but that probably could be because it's just in a different setting other than modern. Oh, and the Proud Family was made in a different studio altogether, so I'm not counting that. Anyway, with that statement basically covering the animation, everything else in this show is pretty solid. There's recurring music cues that keeps things lively to the mood and the character. Like the nurse Shelton, who has a synthy guitar computer theme along with his character, while the Daredevil Dick Daring has a dynamic entrance funky music involving horns. And all the other music production in general has a wild 70s feel to it, based on the instruments that they use. Hell, I would believe it's in the 70s as well if it weren't for the cell phones everywhere. Now on to the cast. And with my first impression being that this is one of Disney's shovelware cartoon days, the Replacements all-star cast really holds up. Todd is voiced by Nancy Cartwright, Riley is voiced by Gray Delisle, Dick is voiced by Timmy's dad, Kay is voiced by Phil and fucking Lil, Jeff Bennett voices the nerd fuck, Gray Delisle also voices a guy, Tara Strong voices a mean girl, and the list just goes on and on of recognizable talent. Now, celebrities in the show are scarce, but the roles that they play are memorable for people who kinda know what the show is, like Carson Palmer, Zac Efron, Miley Cyrus. Other than that, the show is already set with talent. Now, the last thing I had to mention about the production is this type of shit. Alright, so season 2 comes around and noticeable changes occurred in the animation, character designs, and episode structure, but I'll get to that later. And that's because the original creator of the show had little to no involvement at that point, causing him to leave indefinitely to pursue his career in publishing again. And you guys personally always know that when a show loses its creator, it inevitably loses its way. I will put up some obvious examples on the screen, but I think you guys get the point from my words alone. So yeah, they go for a more modern look in 2008, and this show ain't the only one to just bounce from animation like that. Jake Long did it too, and that's another topic for another time. So I'm assuming Disney did it to make things cheaper in the grand scheme of things. Bottom line, I'm giving the Replacements a 5 in production due to inconsistency and having nothing too unique. Now, despite that rating, main plot of the Replacements is ultimately better than the look, and it goes as follows. Todd and Riley were orphans until they ran across this comic book that had an ad promoting a call phone that gave you the ability to replace any human being of your choosing. So they forced the marriage of this daredevil stuntman, Dick Daring, and his secret agent spy, Kay, and making them own a house together with their newly adopted children. And I always thought that the setup was kind of weird, like making these two get together unwillingly just for these two kids, and quite the unlikely pair at that. But who am I to judge? And the show just continues on like they're not part of the FleemCo program. It's just nuts. There's no word on who's actually their parents, how long they've been in an orphanage and shit like that. They just thrown us right into the show so the actual plot can take place. The Replacements. No pun intended. Alright, so the system goes like this. Hello, FleemCo. We need a replacement. So anytime they want to make a change, modify or rearrange, they just call this hotline and poof, problems are over. Or are they? This is where every episode's conflict takes place, because not every replacement is necessarily a good one. The outcome of most of them ultimately bite them back, causing them to learn a lesson and sticking with what they have. So I know damn well you guys know what this show sounds like.
What could possibly go wrong?
That's right, nigga. The wands, the phones, the oblivious kids, the oblivious kid, the inconsistency of a show's plot structure, the rules. It's all there. This is Disney's Fairy Odd Parents, and I'm just now seeing it. But besides all that jazz, the show is still enjoyable to watch. Like, the characters meet their respective roles fairly well, such as Buzz, the bully, Shelton, the dork, Abby, the bitch, Sierra, the bitch, Hakobo, the bitch, Tatsumi, the weeb.
D-Dub, she's actually Japanese though.
Yeah, but if I say Tatsumi the Jap, it would be offensive. Wait, oh fuck. Johnny Hiswell, the Mary Sue sports buff, Principal Cutler, the con artist, always trying to make a quick buck. And let's not forget about our main characters, Todd Daring, the troublemaking dumb brother of Goody Two Shoes Riley Daring, the smart, responsible, sugar-loving sister of his, who also has the same flaws as Todd at times. And every character is wrapped in a beautiful trope bundle. But above all else, FleemCo is the primary plot device of it all. Well, mainly in Season 1. Season 2 had episodes where they didn't even attempt to call him at all. So much for the title of the show there. Apparently, no one knows about the phones and replacements going on around the world except for the Daring family. So this is basically a secret for some weird reason. I don't really understand the consequences with telling people about the phones exactly, considering the fact that they told people in the finale, but nothing bad happens. So I guess that this is some superhero secret identity gay shit. But also in the finale, it is revealed that Conrad Fleem is Todd and Riley's long lost uncle that they never talked about in the show before, or even ruled in the fact that they had siblings at all. But I'm just gonna assume that Disney was in a rush to finish this. So this twist was the only thing to bring in their company's charm. And they also kinda sorta cliffhang the ending with Todd and Riley taking over the company, like, hey, we could spin off this series if you guys really want it. But by that time, I think we were good. But that concludes the main plot, which I'm gonna rank a 7 out of 10. It's an okay concept that just got lost in its own void. Which leads us to the nostalgia. The Replacements is a Saturday morning cartoon, plain and simple, and that's the vibe I always got from it. I never sat up in my chair and said, oh fuck, I need to watch me some Replacements. I usually was just like, oh hey cool, The Replacements is on. Characters like Dick and Akobo kept me tuned into the show for the various quirks and one-liners along with Carson Palmer in general, just announcing he's Carson Palmer. It has a great placement as a lineup show, getting us ready for the main event shows, and that's probably what Disney's plan was from the get-go, a show that wouldn't overshadow its predecessors. I'm not shitting on it, it's just logic. I mean, it has 75 individual episodes and only 2 seasons in a span of, 3 years? And the reruns did the rest. If Disney XD was around during that time, it would have for sure been dumped there to rot. But I personally love this show, along with Agent K's Season 2 update.
Yeah, The Replacements, they were pretty good, you know. It wasn't a top tier cartoon or nothing, but it was entertaining while it was on. I remember the block treated it really bad, and they would show it at like 11 at night. Me and my grandma would watch it at night with Life with Derek. Remember Life with Derek? That was some crazy fucking shit, dude. I always had my questions, like, do they know that they're called? How many people are there? Who's owning this FleemCo place? Who the fuck is this nigga in the chair? Is it Dr. Claw?
No, it's their uncle.
Is it Dr. Claw?
No, it's their uncle.
Dr. Claw.
I already said it was their uncle.
It's probably Dr. Claw.
Nigga, overall, I remember watching this show more on Saturday mornings than Disney Channel. So that just tells you the vibe that it had with me. So I will give it a 7 out of 10, as well as completing my review of Disney's The Replacements, the meh cartoon. Follow me on Twitter to keep up with my shits. Subscribe before FleemCo replaces me with Mars reviews, and check out the latest Chillcast.
Okay, here it goes. Hey man, I'm George Lopez.
I'm D-Dubman of ReviewYaLife, and this video is sponsored by Channel Frederator. See ya!